Welcome to another edition of Give Her a Minute. Today I want to talk about what it's like if your family is not on board with your spiritual growth. What if you feel uncomfortable about really leading into being a spiritual woman if your family looks at you strangely when you walk around with crystals? Well, I'm going to share a story about my life. My mother was totally not in favor of my choices to do spiritual work. And so I had been living in Washington, D.C., had moved away from home, then come back, took care of my father, and then went back into New York and D.C. And then by the time I was like nearing 40, I decided to go to Brazil for a while, and then that didn't work out. I thought I was going to stay and maybe teach, but that didn't work out, so I ended up coming home. And when I came back, at first, my mother kept looking at me strangely, like, why are you back here? Why are you back here? What are you doing? You need a job. You need a husband. You need your own house. What are you doing? And what are you talking about doing this spiritual work? So one day we were having an argument because she was trying to impress upon me how important it is to have a life and to be a householder and maybe get married and have some children. And those were things that I just was never really interested in doing. And so we were arguing, and I went to walk past her in a huff, and she pushed at me. Now, I was shocked. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why did you push me? And I could see in her face that she was thinking that I was going for her and that she was going to make sure she got me before I got her. And she had lost weight, actually. She had been losing weight since my stepfather passed away in 2004. This was like 2006, the end of 2006. So I think she was feeling vulnerable, and she thought I was coming back to the house to try to take her over, because clearly this thing about I have a purpose to help women connect to their divine feminine, or I didn't know what the purpose was, really. I was still trying to reconcile it in my head. And it still wasn't what she thought I should be doing. So she pushed me, and I was startled. Now, this is the way my mother, I assume, would handle something, because she was used to being the biggest in her family. She was the biggest of her sisters. She used to fight her sister Maddie's battles. Her mother would have her get up first thing in the morning to start the fire in the wood-burning stove. Even though it was cold and everybody should have taken a turn, her mother would have her do it. And she always felt that because she was bigger, that she was expected to do more and kind of be like a protector of her family. So we went back and forth, and I had left my car in Virginia, so I wasn't driving, and I was asking my mother to drive her car, but then she got mad at me and said that I couldn't drive it, but that's okay. I started taking the bus, teaching belly dance classes, and people were hiring me to come in and teach belly dance as a holistic spiritual practice. My mother kept looking at me strangely, telling me I needed to get a job, gritting on me, really. And then one day she asked me about a class, and I was shocked. I'm like, why you ask me about belly dance? And I know that this is something you really think is a waste of time. She said she had a dream, and she was a very prophetic dreamer. She said she had a dream. She woke up, and then she went down in the living room, and there was this big red chair in the middle of the living room. And she knew as soon as she saw the chair that it was for me. She took that to mean that she was supposed to welcome me in and help me do my work. And so she started changing after that. And what I started doing is giving her 10% of everything I earned. She saved it for me, I found out later, but I felt like she needed to know that I understand that I'm staying here and there should be an exchange of energy in some way. And she encouraged and supported me. So she was my main detractor, my mother was, when it comes to the spiritual work. Although she was spiritual in her own way, like she had prophetic dreams, she was empathic. She didn't think that that was a way to make money, or that was something that should be the center of my life. And it hurt my feelings. It really hurt my feelings, because I felt like she should be the one that would be my main supporter, but she never really was. I don't even know why I thought that. She was never going to be that. Not in this life. So what I did, and I don't know what the answer is for you. What I did is I continued to push forward, knowing that my purpose was really important. And then I gave part of what I earned to my mother to show her that I understand that there are nuts and bolts things like money and survival that need to be taken care of. We have to push through anyway. And actually, my mother said to me one time, like as I was starting on my spiritual journey, and I had decided that I wanted to heal, and I was changing the way I responded to her. I came home one time and she was fussing, and she said something that would usually push my buttons, but I didn't let her push my buttons. And I just responded in a very loving, gentle way. And she saw that I had changed. So you really don't have to show people tangible things that you've done to show that you're different, but you behave differently. You show up differently. You speak differently. And then people really know that you've changed. So thanks for listening. This has been Give Her a Minute. If you like this, please subscribe.